Damn, bro, this shit's crazy.
Ayo, Muff, you going up. Ayo, Muff, you going up.
Damn, bro, this shit's crazy.
Burr Live. Burr Live. Yeah. Y'all, where we periodically keep you connected. Hashtag these red eyes, change it up. Viewers I read, keep it underage, spoken off social media. Killing myself for your entertainment. Sit here with friends and family, starting a cannabisation. Y'all remember that intro? We used to do that all that when we always used to discover marijuana and did marijuana news and stories here on the Burn Live channel. Now Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday is something different during the daytime, prime time. Welcome to the Burn Live channel. I am your host, Capiche. I appreciate you guys being here. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. You know, somebody who served, who did what they need to do, country serving, sacrificing. That is what today is all about. I have family members who definitely served, who did their time, who worked hard, who served this country. Okay, now I'm done with all that. Got that all kind of special, traditional. Shout out to them. Today, you know, it's marijuana. You know how we get down. You know what I'm saying? You know what we talk about over here. Marijuana news and stories of everyday coverage of things that I feel is important. So, I was going over the news this morning, checking before I did the show and stuff like that. Y'all know me, got to check up on the newsy, and I came across a couple of stories and news that did shock me fully, and I'm gonna go over them today with you guys so we can get a better understanding of news laws and things that are going on. Please like, share, comment, do all them YouTube things, do all the Facebook things, and do all the X things that you need to do. Therefore, we are broadcasting on these platforms. Retweet, heart, share, like. I appreciate it. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, please get your bloods, lighters, joints, bogs, dabs, rigs, anything you need to enjoy this Water News Day. And we're about to get into it. Okay. I told you we finna get into it, y'all. So, how many people like to travel? I mean, truly likes to travel. You travel, you always booking a flight. You at least travel 4 to 6 times a year. I think that's about average a person travel, maybe a little bit less, maybe 2 to 4 times a year. It's mainly a person traveling over the United States of America. Well, what if I told you my Podranians, what if I told you that TSA knows that you're flying with marijuana, that you're not being sneaky, that some states are actually allowing you to fly with your marijuana? You might think that you get all this play, be it all sneaky, be it all fast, be it all this. What if I'm telling you that all of that is just totally BS? And I got a coverage story for you guys that's going to blow your mind. Some of y'all might already know about this. Some of y'all don't. Yet again, ladies and gentlemen, get into this. Uh-oh. Are we forgetting this one? No. Yeah, there we go. Hold on, y'all.
To flying high. I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, and right now I'm at Orlando International Airport, where we've been speaking with passengers who say they had no idea the TSA is now allowing people with their medical marijuana to board planes. Many of them saying there's still a lot of confusion.
I was just now hearing about it, and I'm so glad they are, man, because there's so many people that actually need their medical medicine.
Passengers at Orlando International Airport reacting to the TSA policy, which now allows medical marijuana to be stored in both checked and carry-on luggage.
I mean, it is great. Honestly, I feel like everybody deserves to have their medicine with them, no matter what it is.
Back in April, the Trump administration took action to reclassify marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a less severe Schedule 3, after dozens of states, including Florida, had passed medical marijuana legislation.
I was not aware, no. I don't think nobody's talking about it yet.
The TSA says right now, their agents here at Orlando International aren't searching for any marijuana or illegal drugs. They say instead, those agents have a job of identifying any security threats for that flight.
You're only supposed to be looking through like the x-rays and stuff like that. They should be able to focus on that more.
At this point, it's still unclear if or how TSA agents would verify if somebody has a medical marijuana license. Orlando police tell us if their officers are called to a security line, officers will evaluate the circumstances and enforce applicable laws accordingly, which calls for a $100 fine if the amount is under 20 grams if someone doesn't have a medical marijuana license.
Yeah, I think it's about time, honestly, because I think marijuana in general in Florida is just like a gray area. Like some people don't care, some people do.
So you think this is just the good next step for a policy to reflect real life?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
And the TSA also says local laws do apply. So here in Florida, you can still only legally possess marijuana if you have a medical license to do so. At Orlando International, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Not a bad story to kick
Welcome
off.
back into
Not
Live
a
Now.
bad story to kick off my Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all gotta realize, you gotta understand that a lot of people are getting their medical marijuana. They're flying. You don't want to mess up business. You don't want to over panic. You don't want to slow down these airports from already trying to get a job done. And so therefore now you got an opportunity to actually, avoid all the negativity at an airport. People are not gonna go to the airport and think they're gonna have a true bad experience and they're gonna be okay. So you gotta look at this situation and be like, okay, cool. That's gonna boost up the airports. People want to travel. People are gonna feel a lot safer to travel. And if you think there's something wrong with that, okay, toodles to you. But to the rest of us who's, like they say, has a normal life, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, don't, as you see, 20 grams in Florida. Each state is going to be different. So therefore, you just can't sit up here and say that, hey, I just came from this state, I just came from that state, and that. understand that when you get touched down in these states and you do what you got to do, and you're trying to get on a plane with marijuana, each state is going to be different. Yeah, I don't know how harder we need to explain that. But yet again, there's going to be cases. I'm true indeed. Shout out to Florida for doing what they did, even though they still medical. You know, thinking about going down there, thinking about going to check them out. No lie, no lie, no lie. Let's see. Also, I got an aftermath in Virginia. Virginia has been trying to pass a bill for the marijuana laws. They've been up for ballot for a minute. There's been major talks about Virginia. Now here's the little bit of aftermath. We did cover
in the deep dive
a couple ago. We did cover it. So now we got a little bit deep dive. We're going to go over a follow-up of what's going on in the marijuana news. And let's get into it.
Tonight, the chance for retail pot shops in Virginia is up in smoke with Governor Abigail Spanberger's veto. Her move comes after the General Assembly nixed her recommendations for legalizing sales.
Now, Rebecca Turco breaks down how we got here and what's next for the legislation that's been coming back every session.
Under the legislation, dispensaries like this one could apply for dual-use privileges to sell medical and recreational marijuana. But with the governor's veto, that's not happening.
Governor Abigail Spanberger is saying no to a retail marijuana market, at least for now, leaving the Commonwealth in a legal gray area where you can have marijuana, but you can't legally buy it if it's not medicinal.
I think the writing was on the wall when she came back with her substitute.
Trent Woloveck is the chief strategy director for Jushi Holdings, Inc., which runs Beyond Hello cannabis stores nationwide. In states like Virginia, these stores only sell to those with a prescription.
There is a demand for cannabis, and we need to pull our heads out of the sand and regulate it in order to ensure public health and safety for the constituents of Virginia.
Last month, the governor proposed dozens of changes to the pot bill, including pushing marijuana retail sales from January to July of next year, dropping the number of stores from 350 to 200, and upping the state tax from 6% to 8%. The General Assembly wouldn't have it.
This is a good step in the right direction.
Todd Gackey with the Family Foundation doesn't want retail sales in Virginia. Period.
We have to have this regulatory and tax framework in order to keep it out of the youth's hands. There is a black market. We know that it's going to exist, and we need to do what we can to protect our youth and families.
But Trent argues legalizing recreational sales would tamp down on the black market. Now he says his expansion project that could bring millions in tax revenue is on hold.
You need to just pull the Band-Aid off and let the good actors outshine the bad actors.
With statements like that, make the good actors outshine the bad actors. This is the problem that I'm going to keep announcing and keep bringing up every time that people want to ignore the fact that every state needs not to be medical marijuana. There are problems and situations that come up that are validated that makes you not want to go recreational. And he named one. The black market is still out there. There are people that are on the streets that see what you do in the dispensaries, and all they do is lower their prices until you can somehow think about those and include those in. You have to think about, hey, this is just for weed, but yet again, is it for everybody? Are we really trying to just get the medical? And I understand everybody don't want medical, but hey, you need to be able to go after criminals and not put innocent people in harm's way. And in this situation, y'all, that will put people in harm's way by going recreational when you can't regulate it the correct way. And y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all think I'm crazy. I think this person got an experience. I'm not gonna play it. They got 14. Governor Spitzberg votes legal retail marijuana in Virginia. Virginia is gonna be the biggest thing. Virginia and Florida, because a lot of people not understanding the laws and stuff. These announcements, like aboarding the plane, if you got a marijuana license in what's called, is not going to be talked about so much. Now here comes something that I'm definitely looking forward to. I told you
about
guys,
this, and
I am definitely going to keep up on. It's for gun owner license and marijuana. That is highly dear to me. I think that is very important. If you're going to say this is to help us, well, don't hurt us and let us protect ourselves. Okay. Like I always allude to right now, I'm going to crack open the blunt and smoke it with you guys because, marijuana day. But I can't protect my home. That saddens me to thinking about that. I cannot protect my home. And we got to really think about that for people that are innocent. I'm not a felony. I don't have misdemeanors. I don't have nothing on my record. So why can't I protect myself? Because I enjoy the healthiness of marijuana. Even if I got my license, I still couldn't indulge.
Federal government's move to reclassify medical marijuana as a Schedule III drug is raising a new question for medical marijuana cardholders. Are they now allowed to not only purchase firearms, but to hold concealed carry permits? Channel 7's Andrew Mobley spoke with some industry experts about this, and he joins us now in our studio with more. Andrew.
The best answer we can give you now is it looks like that's the direction the federal government is going, but things are very much up in the air right now. By reclassifying medical marijuana as a Schedule III drug, the Department of Justice has put it in the same category as widely used prescription pain medications like Suboxone or codeine, lawful users of which are not barred from purchasing guns or acquiring concealed carry permits. 3 years ago, Arkansas passed Act 757, which tried to allow medical marijuana patients to get those permits, but the ATF did not recognize it as legal. Officials at Good Day Farms, the largest dispensary operator in Arkansas, believe that law can now take effect and medical marijuana patients should also be able to buy a gun.
I do anticipate state medical card holders in places like Arkansas to be treated like any other citizen or any other patient of any other drug, which would not disqualify them from possession or purchase of firearms.
That's exciting news for many medical marijuana patients who so far have had to choose between their Second Amendment rights and medication.
We live on a farm. If I want to buy a new shotgun to protect my livestock, I should be allowed to do it. But because I'm a marijuana patient, I can't.
But is it too soon to celebrate? When you buy a gun from a federally licensed dealer, you have to fill out this firearm transaction form, which asks if you unlawfully use marijuana, the recreational or medical use of which is considered unlawful by the federal government. Checking yes disqualifies you from buying a gun. Lying is perjury. After the rescheduling, the ATF put out a new draft form that strikes medical marijuana from that disqualifier, but the old form is still in effect.
Any cardholder that goes out to purchase a weapon today, they're going to be signing a form that says that marijuana is not lawful in any form. There are still legitimate risks for proceeding at this point.
We recommend that if you're a card holder, wait on trying to buy a gun at the very least until that draft ATF form is made official. On your side, I'm Andrew Mobley.
Okay, Andrew, thank you again. That schedule change by the Department of Justice applies only to medical marijuana,
not recreational. So, like you said, this is good news. Shout out to Arkansas for covering this story. This is highly important to me. This is This is what I've been waiting for a long time. And like she said, protect your stock. If you want to grow some people on farmlands like that, but like I said, I'm a podcaster. I have a bunch of equipments in here. I don't live in such a prevalent neighborhood. So therefore, like I said, if I'm here and I'm getting my medicine and somebody wants to break into my home, guns ablazing, amazing, what am I supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen? I think I should have the right to protect myself by all means. And in that situation, and by that, I want to say, like, hey, I just think y'all should have gone ahead and just let medical license and marijuana's, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you be able to catch us. You know who doing it. And if that's the case, I promise you 100%, sign me up. Sign me up, because I'm going to go get both. And I wouldn't even care about medical marijuana. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact of being safe. It's the fact that I know that I can protect myself. I don't have to worry about criminals and bad guys attending and trying to hurt, trying to harm, trying to disenfranchise me, tear me down. You know what I'm saying? I can protect myself. And that's what it is about. It's just about able to protect yourself. People that drink alcohol are allowed to protect themselves. They're allowed to have beer in the homes, you know what I'm saying, and carry a gun as long as they're not under the influence. And I think we should have the same statues and the same respect just because we're potheads. That's all. Yeah, we're making bars for you to go smoke weed in. There's no bar specifically to go smoke cigarettes. Now, cigars. Yeah, cigars. But yet again, people that smoke cigarettes are allowed to protect themselves. It's really a double-edged sword. I know people are most likely saying you're playing with games. But it's a weed thing, y'all. It's a weed thing. I think it definitely 100% needs to be protected. I appreciate it. I can't wait to do the more follow-up to let you know when those papers are officially in and you can actually go take care of it. I was going to cover the other story, but I don't think that has anything to do with marijuana. Funny. What do y'all consider? What do the average person consider too many of something? What is too much of something? What can you say around United States of America that we have too many of? Too many strip clubs, too many liquor stores, too many Walmarts, too many what? Huh? Is there ever a time in your life where you can honestly say there's too many McDonald's? Now I know y'all like, where you getting at it? Capiche? This is a weed. So you know this is a weed day, Monday weed. What's up? Holla at your boy. Which I think I'm gonna bring up a story here. Yes, you're right, ladies and gentlemen. Too many dispensaries. State's offer says New York cannabis market is growing. I'm assuming too fast. Are we growing too fast? Are we moving too fast? Boy, amazing. Out of all the stuff that's out here popping and doing this thug thizzle, y'all. This is gonna be funny to me because I want to hear the logic sense that they're saying there's too many marijuana dispensaries. Hey, I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. They probably finna do a very good job at doing that. We are going to see. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what I'm finna say. Let's get into it for real.
For staying with us, I'm Cassie Hudson.
And I'm Casey Kentz. Our top story this half hour, the number of marijuana dispensaries in the capital region nearly doubling.
As a new business
My bad, y'all. You like, what are you talking about, Capiche? There we go.
Hello, and thank you for staying with us. I'm Cassie Hudson.
And I'm Casey Kentz. Our top story this half hour, the number of marijuana dispensaries in the capital region nearly doubling.
As a new business opens its doors, today we asked the leader of the State Cannabis Management Board if there are too many dispensaries in our area. News 10's Atiana Xavier has more.
Here in Troy, Casa Verde Dispensary is opening its doors, joining a growing market. I spoke to the owner, and he said his mission is to turn a dark market into a bright market.
There's a lot of dark things that can happen around cannabis consumption, but also purchasing cannabis and even, selling it. So what we want to do is create a safe opportunity for people to come in and, purchase it in a great place.
According to the state's Office of Cannabis Management, about 650 licensed dispensaries are now operating statewide, including 77 here in the capital region. That number has nearly doubled from 2 years ago. And while that may sound like a lot of dispensaries, state leaders say there's still room to grow.
We don't believe that the market has yet reached capacity or saturation. We do still think that there's room for more growth in this market because, it's worth understanding that New York has very strong demand.
That demand is already showing up in the numbers.
We've now done a little over $3.5 billion in consumer sales over 3.5 years. And just so far this year alone, we've already done through the end of April over $500 million worth of sales. And we're well on pace to do about $2.5 billion this year.
This industry.
So, an industry that is growing rapidly, fast, good marketing, people are investing, small businesses, owners actually are able to jump in, hop in, get into these investments and become an investor. There's a problem. Or we got to relook at it. But yet again, you would think, and I'm assuming these talks were talked about during the prohibition, during alcohol, where there too many liquor stores getting open. You got liquor stores and then you had bars. And then that's kind of what's going on sort of now. You have dispensaries and then you're going to have lounges. Another substitute for a bar that you can go smoke weed, chill, hang out, socialize, and be sociable and spend money. And the thing is, spending money into the economy, back into the states, cities, is a good thing. This is what we want. This is what we're trying to push. But yet again, why is we even looking at it to put a cap on resources? Now, I did say certain states shouldn't go recreational, certain states shouldn't go marijuana, but I never suggested, I never would say to stop the marketing from growing for marijuana and then for small marketers and big marketers and stuff like that. I think that's always should stay open. I just think you should re-strategize which states get what and make sure the reasoning is validated for the state. Okay, that's what I mean when I say be careful on what you do and how you do it and stuff like that.
Industry has also generated nearly $5 $500 million in tax revenues. Kajia said most of this is because all the new businesses. Casa Verde's owner says dispensaries have to separate themselves.
What makes us different than everybody else is the fact that we're a community-based organization. So we do a lot of things that are going to help out the community. For example, we're outside cleaning garbage during Earth Week, making the area a lot cleaner and safer for not only customers, but families as well that, you know, go to the dish and just spend some quality time.
So we actually go out here and clean it up the neighborhoods and parks and stuff. The same tributes that we used to ask from baseball and football and hockey, basically sports owners, the same tribute you used to ask from sports owners is getting out here, getting into the neighborhoods, getting back to your community, starting events. Like, hey, I'm starting these events. We're going to go out to the park. We're going to smoke some weed, true indeed, but not only we're going to smoke weed, but we're going to clean it up. We're going to clean up the trash and make the neighborhood good for the kids, the ducks, the birds, and the animals, and the wildlife, and the wilderness to preserve our nature. That's a good thing. I think all states should actually pick up on that. I think all states should pick up on that. If we got dispensaries and they're big and they're local, and we have local natural talent. Out here in Nevada, we have a dam. We have another part where people go skiing and stuff like that. We should be able to clean up them neighborhood. We also have parks around here that are flooded with the homeless. And I'm gonna talk to my peoples and see what I can do for us, the Burn Live crew, and see if I can start a Burn Live smoke park cleanup park day. I'm just gonna get out there with my uniform on, me and a couple of people that I know, and we're gonna go around cleaning up parks. And we're gonna start that out here in Nevada. Something to give back to the neighborhood. And that's what matter of fact, I'm really gonna start looking into that today, once I get off here and make my free runs, but actually get into something like that and start something. And I'm not a dispensary, I'm just a podcaster. This is my channel. I like doing this, and I think that is a good start. And you see how he just motivated me. You see what I'm saying? He just motivated me to want to do it. Let's get into it.
Together.
The Office of Cannabis Management says there are hundreds more dispensaries still in the works and expects many more to open over the next few years. Reporting in Troy, Tiana Xavier, News 10, ABC.
See? You see how I thought that they was going to be open up dispensaries and stuff like that. That was a good thing. We need more of that. That's what's up. And look at me. I'm finna start something in my neighborhoods pretty soon, hopefully before the winter time, which is easy. You know what I'm saying? We couple of trash bags. You know what I'm saying? Call the city, like, hey, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Which parks, you know what I'm saying? Because they might know parks that are really trash. And you know, they got park people to go out there and do it, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? They still able to do their job. They do other things. I heard stories in like California and Washington where there are people going out there painting signs, the street roads. Because yet again, it's dangerous walk signs and out there. They're doing a good job. It's illuminating the streets. It actually made the streets safer, but the city is not liking it. And those things need to be more looked at as a problem in our cities and need to be stopped, because yet again, we are only here trying to help our city and states out. I do want to check out this little quick gun law up in Chicago, y'all.
It's a new legal battle to.
That's a legal battle. See, we gotta. I just want to check this out.
eliminate Illinois' FOID card law. The firearm owner's identification card is mandatory for lawful gun ownership right here in our state. It's been around since 1968, but a civil rights group argues the requirement is unconstitutional and has filed a federal lawsuit to block it. Joining us now to break down this legal argument is Jacob Hubert, senior litigation counsel with the New Civil Liberties Alliance. Jacob, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's walk through this. Talk to me about this. Illinois has already required FOID cards for decades. Why do you believe the law is unconstitutional now, especially after this recent Supreme Court Second Amendment ruling? And has there been precedent on this? Has there been other lawsuits in the past?
Well, this is the first federal lawsuit, as far as I know, directly taking on the FOID card requirement as we're doing. And certainly the time has never been better to bring such a challenge, because the Supreme Court made very clear to other federal courts how they should analyze Second Amendment challenges to restrictions on the right to own a firearm. This has come up in some Illinois state court cases where defendants and criminal cases have argued that it's unconstitutional. The Illinois Supreme Court has never weighed in on that. Some lower courts have, some trial courts have said it's unconstitutional, but that just applies to the particular parties in that case. Some of the appellate courts have said that it is constitutional. We think they're very wrong about that. And we're very confident in our arguments that we're bringing to federal court, which is not only that this violates the Second Amendment, but also that it deprives people of liberty without due process of law in violation of the 14th Amendment. Normally, if the government wants to take away your rights, it has to go to a court and tell that why if they think you're dangerous and shouldn't have guns, why that is, and they have to have some evidence for that. Illinois reverses that. It says nobody has any gun rights. Everyone is treated essentially as guilty until they go to the Illinois State Police and convince them that they're innocent and entitled to exercise Second Amendment rights. That's not how it's.
That's a gun law for that ass. Now, nationwide, speaking upon this, just putting that you have your gun owner on your regular ID, valid driver license or non-driver license, I think should happen. I think it will make it a lot easier. I think it make the process go a lot smoother. When you come to the, whatever, you know what I'm saying? When you see the ID, I click, bam. It says it right there on the ID, I am a registered gun owner. So therefore, the officer can panic or whatever. Sir, ma'am, person in the vehicle, do you have any guns, weapons of sort in the car? That would be the next probably follow-up question. Person be like, hey, I have this, blase, and the proceeding goes on. I just think that's an easy fix, take care of, that should happen in the in states when they're getting pulled over left and right, for as officers getting your ID and seeing if you got a gun license and register. Instead of, I got to give you that license, I got to give you that license. I don't have my license, I got to give you a piece of paper because the license on its way. I just think putting it on a regular ID, handing it to you. Just, you want your stop to go less quick as possible. Me personal, I just want it fast, quick, and out the way.
Supposed to work. And so that's the argument that we're presenting to the court.
So I'm just curious here, because when you speak, I automatically think of our neighboring state of Indiana. I know on July 1st of 2022, they decided to enact what they call permitless carry, allowing anyone 18 or older who was not legally prohibited from possessing a firearm to do so. Is that kind of what you would like to see here in the state of Illinois?
Well, this lawsuit isn't about carrying. There's a separate law about concealed carry permits, and the courts haven't finally weighed in on whether that's okay. But Illinois goes much farther than every other state in the union, except one, Massachusetts, in saying that you can't so much as touch a gun until you get government permission. That is extraordinary, and that prevents people from exercising what the Supreme Court has said is the core basic right of the Second Amendment, which is to have a firearm in your home for self-defense. Carrying
Have a firearm in your home for self-defense. And that is what I am keen on when it comes to the marijuana license. And I believe everybody, and I do mean everybody in United States of America that's a American citizen should have the right to bear arms and protect themselves and their homes against any intruder, government invasion, or across seas terrorist attack. I don't know how simple that I can get more than that. That is real simple. That is real to the basics. And yeah, that's how I see that. And he just said it right, plain as day right there. I'm gonna rewind it so you guys can hear it one more time. That's just to the point of what I'm trying to say when it comes to people that have a medical marijuana license and any type of license. You know what I'm saying? Any type of person that is American citizen that feels they need to bear arms to protect themselves.
Is extraordinary, and that prevents people from exercising what the Supreme Court has said is the core basic right of the Second Amendment, which is to have a firearm in your home for self-defense. Carrying is another argument. This isn't about that. This is just about the most basic right to have a firearm in your home.
Understood. Let's talk about the other side here, because, you know, there's always the other side. We don't have that group here, but the state will likely argue the FOID process helps keep guns out of the hands of dangerous individuals. Does the lawsuit challenge background checks entirely, or specifically the licensing requirement?
It's just about the licensing requirement. When you go to purchase a firearm, there is a federal background check that's done on you. This has nothing to do with that. This is just about the FOID card requirement, where to use a gun at all in any context, you have to go get that permit first, which is not necessarily a simple matter. The law says they have 30 days to decide. Really, it amounts to 90 days or more with the way it works. And then in the past, you've had people waiting much, much longer to get their approval. 9 months, a year, and just to exercise a right that you're just supposed to have in the first place under the Constitution.
You're right. We have reported on the backlog of the FOID process, and it taking, you know, an absorbent amount of time for people to get their hands on that card. Your lawsuit also challenges the requirement that gun owners carry their FOID card while possessing firearms or even ammunition. Why is that provision significant to your clients?
Well, because, I mean, you shouldn't need to carry your papers on you to show that you're entitled to exercise a constitutional right. If you want to speak, you don't need to have your free speech permit in your pocket. If you want to assert your right to a jury trial, you don't need to have gone and got the right piece of paper and had it with you. And it's really unreasonable. I mean, it's bad enough that you have to go get this permit, but then even after they issue it, you have to carry it on you. And if you don't, you commit a violation of the law just as though you'd never gotten the card at all. But we don't even treat people who don't, you know, if you get pulled over and you don't have your driver's license, typically nobody really cares about that. They look, they check, they see, oh yeah, you're a licensed driver, and you don't get in big trouble for that. But if you are found with a firearm and you can't show your FOID card, you might be in big trouble.
No, that's a good.
Now this one right here it's a toss up for me. I really would like to see where this goes. He does make a valid point to where I was like, nah, man, y'all heard me earlier. Carry that license around you. It just makes it easier for when you get pulled over by the police officer. But he made a valid point when he said, hey, you get pulled over by the police officer, that same police officer, you don't have a driver's license. All you got to do is tell him the right information. He look you up. It's right there. Bing, bow, bing. You have a good day. So in the same token, if he pull you over and say, hey, do you have a firearm? Hey, I'm a gun license owner. I don't have my license. And you give him all the information, you should be able to go to look it up and see, and then go on by the day, write you the ticket or non-write you the ticket, whatever the reason he pulled you over for, and you should be able to have a nice day. Like I said, when he said that, that really opened me up. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He got a point. All right, maybe I need to pump my brakes. I need to pump my brakes.
Point. And in fact, we've done stories on that exact thing that you're talking about there. Jacob Hubert, I want to ask you, what's the next steps in this lawsuit?
Well, the next step is for the state to file its response they'll probably argue about why they think we should lose right away. They'll say that they're allowed to do this under the Second Amendment, and then we'll have to file our own brief about why they're wrong about that and why this does violate the due process in the Second Amendment. And the court will issue a decision, and no doubt whoever loses in front of the federal district court in Chicago will appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, and we'll go on from there.
Well, Mr. Hubert.
Has also generated nearly
Minnesotans have plenty of experience grabbing beer or wine at a liquor store. That's not the case when it comes to buying legal marijuana. In tonight's Good Question, Jeff Wagner helps first-timers navigate the ins and outs of shopping at a dispensary.
Dozens of recreational marijuana dispensaries can now be found across Minnesota. Many of them opened last year, but it's still relatively new. And if you've visited dispensaries in other states, the rules can be different. So what is it like to shop at a Minnesota dispensary? Good question. We're going to walk you through the process at Loon Leaf Dispensary in Blaine.
They're all very nice, but the heaviest indica is that Browning Scout.
Joelle DeAlencar is the owner.
And we got you the ATF 1 gram disposable, and we got you the green apple and the cotton candy.
Who's eager to help new customers feel comfortable.
You have a great rest of your day, okay? They sometimes will come in a little bit nervous. Am I allowed to be in here? But you are allowed. This is all legal. This is a safe way to consume your cannabis. You know it's tested. You know it's safe.
Often when you enter a dispensary, there's sort of a waiting area. That's usually where they'll check your ID to make sure you're at least 21 years old. Valid IDs include a driver's license, state ID, passport, and a tribal ID. On a slow day here at Loon Leaf, they'll check it right at the register.
How we doing? Good to see you again.
Once scanned, your info is entered into a database to monitor how much product you're buying on this visit.
We got you, Rosanna. It's not necessarily to be able to pinpoint this is who bought what. It's really so that the state can monitor every product and make sure that there's no diversion going around.
In dispensaries in some other states, you might see large jars of weed where you can take the bud out and smell it, but that's not how it works in Minnesota when it comes to what can be on display.
In the future, once product is a lot more available, we will have jars. We can't, have you take it out of the jar or, consume it, sample it. It's really going to be a more visual experience.
There are limits on how much you can buy per visit.
And this glue is going to be very relaxing, okay?
For weed flower, it's 2 ounces. This bag contains 1/4 of an ounce, so you could buy 8 of them. For edibles, it's 800 milligrams. This bag contains 100 milligrams. So again, you could buy 8 bags. The limit for concentrates, like vapes, is 8 grams.
These vapes have 1 gram each, also capping you at 8. Essentially, the limit is the amount you're legally allowed to transport in your car.
On top of selling recreational marijuana, Loon Leaf also has medicinal marijuana. And while they do come in different packages, there's also a big difference in price.
So as a medical customer in Minnesota, you are exempt from the cannabis tax as well as the state tax. Thank you.
Recreational customers pay a 15% cannabis tax and local sales tax starting at 6.875%. For a $100 purchase, the total would be about $122 after tax. Cash and debit cards are accepted.
Ooh, an old school 20.
But not credit cards.
And come ready to either talk to your bud tender with questions. If you're new, that's totally fine. Happy to help any way that we can. No question is a silly question.
With photojournalist Jose Pascual.
You are all set. We'll see you next time, okay?
Jeff Wagner.
For the people that watch my show, never actually had a chance to see inside of a dispensary and the process and what goes on, well, there you go. We just had a walkthrough experience, news coverage of walking through a dispensary. And true indeed, you don't get that much. That's a hell of an experience. I remember when I first came out here to Vegas, and when we went recreational, it was still new to a lot of people, and still today, which is it may be shocking to people up in California, Portland, and Washington, and Colorado, that we like buying it from a dispensary, actually doing it is still new to a lot of people. People are still used to the street life. People still used to the little D-boy on the block, and it's still an experience. And I guess I still got the experience of people when they first bought weed and the crying and the enjoyment and the weed. People was buying so much weed, but weed was just dropped everywhere. It was a cool, fun time to be in Nevada. Not gonna lie to you, it's one of some good experiences that I do have vividly in my head. But yet again, at the same time, we can probably look back at those times like, damn, we was very abusing weed, not knowing the consequences and laws and stuff. We were just getting into it, even though that's why I had personally built the channel for. So I was learning, but at that time when we actually went recreational 2017, I did not have this channel. It was just the idea of wanting to start this, and that's what I was doing. United States of America has made a lot of mistakes in the past, and we're heading in the right direction in a lot of ways, and we're heading in the wrong direction. We're heading in the wrong direction in other ways. Everybody get to pick and choose what is valid to them, how they feel it needs to go and do. I have no problem with that. I'm not here to argue or debate on that. What I am here to say is, in the marijuana field, we need to do as much research, processing, and not forgetting about the little people as possible. But understand that capitalism is real, it's true, and it's here to stay, and it's not going nowhere. So we need to learn to take advantage of that. Not sit here and pout, poop, and piss over opportunities that slip through our fingers. Nope. If they slip through our fingers, go find another opportunity, grasp it, light it up and smoke it, and let's inhale it and enjoy it. Okay? There's no sense of sitting here and not understanding the license and weed and stuff that goes on. I am your host, Capiche. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Anytime that you're watching this, I appreciate that we all hanging out together. Let's do this anytime. Let's blaze. And with that, I would like to say, have a good day. Bye-bye.
This motherfucker is locked.
Talking, I'm in love, baby.